Every year, the Wellesley Women Artisans puts on an art tour for the town of Wellesley and the general public.
This year we have 9 locations and over 30 artists that are being featured.
We've done a few art tours. This is our biggest one yet. Lala O'Neill gets credit for organizing us and really keeping us to the deadlines.
I think it's just such a fun, great, family-friendly, free event that we offer every year, usually the first weekend of October.
My studio, I now paint in this bedroom in my home. I have 6 kids, but I'm down to just 2 at home, and so I repurposed this bedroom. And I just love to come in here when it's quiet. I turn on a podcast or some music, and I come in with ideas in my mind. I have an inspiration board and thoughts and ideas, and sometimes even just a quote or a theme, and I come up with a color palette. I love bold, bright colors that make me happy. I definitely have favorites that I gravitate toward, and then I just load up my paint with my brush with a lot of thick paint and just start working on a canvas. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of or happy with is my ability to stop and keep it minimal and not overwork and ruin something that was good. So I'll stop and look at something for a while, live with it for a few days, and then see if I want to come back and do more. And this one is a really good example of it. So that's a print of the very first painting that I ever sold. And the original is 40 wide by 30. And, I was working from a photo reference. It was a really pretty piece with a lot of light and a lot of darkness. I was probably about 25% of the way done with what I thought I was going to be painting. And I stepped away from this just really loving what it was right there. And I put my brush down and I didn't work anymore on it that day. The next day I came and looked at it. I still loved it, and I just sat with it for several days, and then it was done. I signed it and showed it, and it sold. And that was the first painting I sold, and I haven't looked back. It's been fun. But I think, the thing that I really try to do is put that brush down before I ruin something that's good.
We are standing in front of my painting. It's called Let the Light In, and maybe I can tell you a little bit about how I made it. So acrylic painting is lots of layers of colors, and I'm really interested in not only using a paintbrush, but removing the paintbrush and finding a different way to move paint around the canvas. So the first couple of layers, which are darker underneath, I made with a paintbrush. And then for the final layer, I mixed some acrylic inks into some heavy body acrylics, which are the really buttery, thicker paints. And I used a credit card to move the paint around. And what I really like about it is that you lose control over how it's gonna end up, and you take away the artist, the paintbrush. So I think it's just a really interesting way of making paintings. Now we're standing in front of my painting called Urban Landscape in Blue, and I took the influence for making this painting from Gerhard Richter. He works with these gigantic squeegees, and he moves paint around the canvas with a squeegee, and I was really interested to learn how that's done. And so this is a few different layers, and I put the paint directly on the canvas, and then with the squeegee I moved it around in a lot of different directions. And what I like about it is that you don't know how it's going to turn out until it happens. So I like that loss of control. It makes it very abstract and just very interesting. And I think some of the textures you can't get with the paintbrush, and the way the paint kind of mixes together on its own. And so I was really interested in that particular technique.
I'm KeLLI SACHER. I have a business, Art House 103, here on Westgate Road in Wellesley, and I started, this will be my 3rd year doing this business, teaching art to kids kindergarten through 5th grade. A friend of mine signed her daughter up and 2 of her friends, and it since has grown to 4 classes. In a couple weeks, I'll have my 4th class with 8 or 9 kids. This side of the table is what we did this week. 1st grade, kindergarten and 1st grade did abstract paintings with India ink and sticks, making shapes, and then they went back into them with watercolor and they painted their shapes. But I didn't give them instruction. I keep it pretty loose so that they're making their own decisions. They then some of them went on top of that and added shapes with chalk. So it's a multi-layer mixed media. This was an image we painted abstractly, and I made sort of a game out of flowers. I said we're going to make flowers, and we used the rule of 5. So they made 5 circles, and then they went in and around and painted 5 blooms around their centers, and then they painted 5 leaves and 5 lines for their vase. And this was the same class. And they all came out completely different, and that's my goal when they paint, is that everybody brings their own personality and they make their own decisions, and so they're really making their own art. It's not cookie cutter. I may start with a directed drawing, but I try to keep it very open-ended so that the end result is varied and really pleasing for everybody.
Hi, I'm CAROLYN MACKIN. I'm a local artist here in Wellesley, and for the studio tour today, I'm showing some of my newer work. It's part of a collection that I call Adventure Within, and it's really inspired by my travels to Morocco and my fantasy of going to India and other exotic places. Being an artist here in Wellesley has been amazing, and I think that it feels really empowering to be able to have a business here in my home, and then to be able to get the artwork out to the local community and serve the community in that way. I absolutely love it, and I appreciate that so many people in Wellesley and surrounding towns are art lovers and appreciators.
My name is WeNDY CALLAHAN. I actually live in Norwell, but CAROLYN MACKIN asked me if I wanted to participate in the art tour and show my work in her dining room. I've been painting actually since kindergarten, and I went to Syracuse University undergrad, and then I had my master's from Ball State University, and I still continue to paint, but I'm also an interior designer, and I just opened up a to the trade showroom called the South Shore Design Center, and I show my paintings in the front of the shop. My paintings are abstract is what I kind of like, and I like texture, and I like color for the most part, and they're kind of minimal. So these paintings are kind of inspired by water and the colors surrounding water. And the painting right up here is clearly kind of like landscape inspired, but very sort of on a misty day. I find my inspiration, I live on the South Shore, so I'm constantly surrounded by water, and I really actually love the sky too. The sky and the water is kind of inspiration to me.
Hi, my name is Megan CARTY. I am an artist from Pepperell, Massachusetts, and we're at CAROLYN MACKIN's home, and she was generous enough to invite me to be part of the Wellesley Art Tour this year. So I'm really excited to come and show my work and get it out in the world. It's exciting. I do a little bit of everything. I love bright color, any excuse to use really vibrant color. So a lot of my work is New England seascapes and landscapes. I do really bright, vibrant, boho, chic florals, and then I do really colorful abstract paintings, a little bit of everything. I've been painting since I was 6. And I just started to take it very seriously throughout high school. And then I went to Syracuse University and I studied art there. And ever since then, I've been doing graphic design, letterpress printing, and then I took the leap and got brave and started creating paintings, and I haven't looked back. This is a floral I created based on a wedding bouquet, and it's like a celebration of life and a really happy time. And I really love to use vibrant colors and create a lot of drama in my work through the color. And I really feel a connection with painting florals because I've suffered from depression a lot of my life, and I've found that I get to paint how I feel inside, who I really am underneath the cobwebs of depression. So this is how I really feel like me. And being able to paint beautiful, happy colors is how I want to feel all the time. So this is really a celebration of the person I am beneath all of that.